All right. Good evening, everyone. Let's see, Anthony Diorio. Yeah. Sorry to hear you're stuck at work, man. Mugs up to you. Mugs up to you. Drive safe on your way home. All right. It says we got. Well, I thought it said four. Now it says three. People in here waiting already. I did set this to go live at 5, I do believe. Um, yes, everything says 5. Okay, cool. I had to make sure for a second. See, Purified, good to see you. Hope you had a great week. Gosh, this week to me. Yeah, Purified, I actually did have a pretty good week, and it has been busy here as well. It has been a hectic week, but it's been a good one. Palmer, good afternoon. Glad you can make it. Luna, howdy. Yeah, it does seem a little brighter in here today for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Um, it's like my camera just never can make up its mind if it's going to be dark or bright. So, Bernalda's, glad you can make it. KRY, welcome. No, it has been a busy week here for me as well. Whew, I had a lot going on. I did start that Clifothic working, like I said, is going to. Um, finished out a bunch of other projects I had going. We finished up all the notations and everything is ready to go for the tarot class. So we are set to actually start filming that, um, which that class will be going up to the workingdragonmystic.com school. So that's awesome to hear. And see, now my camera went dark. Um, so that's going to be awesome. We are attempting to have that class available before Halloween because, as many of you know, Samhain, Halloween, which is New Year, great time for divination work. And so I was wanting to have that class up and running and available for people wanting to pick up the divinations at that time of year. Um, and assuming we have no more malfunctions, we've ran into a few. We have ran into a few malfunctions. I think it's still plausible that we'll be able to do that. So we shall find out. Illa, welcome. Ms. Weeks, good to see you again. Welcome. Yes, that's a good point. Thanks, Putus, for reminding me. Yes, make sure you do hit the like button. It does let YouTube know you enjoy the work we're doing, and the algorithm shows this video to more people. The more people find the channel, more seekers find the channel, the more they can learn, and hopefully they can find a path that will be right for them. So that's been happening. So it has just been one of those weeks where it's just been go, 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 go. Um, and I've been told to take it easy because I might have maybe possibly sprained my ankle a few weeks ago. And me being the intelligent person I am, have not slowed down one bit. So it's not exactly getting better. So yeah, I've now got like 3 people constantly nagging me to stay off my foot, take it easy, and um, I've promised to do that. I have promised to try and stay off the foot a bit more. Um, but I did also let them know, I have this filming coming up, and luckily it's a tarot class, so I don't think I'll be up on my feet too much during the filming of it. But got to get that done. So some of my extracurricular activities might be slowed down, and I got to try and minimize being on my feet as much for work as possible. That's going to be an interesting obstacle I'm going to have to work through over the next couple of weeks. Um, and I keep saying it's just a sprained ankle, it's no big deal. But people who love you, they worry about you. What you gonna do about it? Let's see. Currently have a stomach ache, but this live will get my mind off it. If you got some, get you a little mint tea there, Pootis. It really does help with the stomach ache quite well. Uh, Anaka Williams, welcome. Glad you can make it. Let's see, Luna, new tarot class ideal. Push up threads. The bad side is if you get the world card and have to do 22 push ups. Oh, I don't know about all that. Hey, Tara, good to see you. Glad you can make it. So yeah, that's all been going. I do get a lot of questions on ceremonial magic, and I've attempted to cover ceremonial magic in a video to do a review on it or two books that I do generally recommend for it. And every time I did, the videos were getting like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours long. Um, so instead, I stepped back because I don't know if I'm really going to be able to do detail and ceremonial magic on this channel anytime soon. But I did go ahead and record a video covering both books, introducing them, why I like them. Um, because there are a lot of people who are interested in ceremonial magic, and I don't blame you. It's a fascinating study, whether you want to practice it or just understand it and study it. It is fascinating. So, I did manage to get a reasonable discussion of those two books, why I like them, why I recommend them to my students, done that is not an hour long. In fact, I think it comes in at under 20 minutes, believe it or not. So you can look forward to seeing that video probably in October, which is going to be good because I do know a lot of you out there are really curious about ceremonial magic. Let's see. Oh, PG, you made it. Glad you could make it. Um, Everyone, our very favorite person, Peachy, be sure to type in there and say, "Oh, Peachy, glad you got your internet working again." She seems to be doing well. She's got her power back. Family's doing okay, and they finally got her internet up and running too. So she'll be around to bug us, and we can bug her again. We all know we missed it. So that's good to see that she's doing well and doing fine. Um, I did get asked. Someone asked me, with the second channel started, would I be cutting back on this channel? I want to make it very clear. The answer to that is no. The second channel is for fun. It is something me and my daughter are doing for fun together, and we enjoy it. It's more whimsical. It's definitely not occult based, and it in no way will take away from this. In fact, if it comes down to having to prioritize shooting a video, it's always going to be Working Dragon Mystic because this isn't this channel's. I have fun doing it, but this is a priority channel where that one's kind of a secondary fun thing only. So don't worry about that. Another question that I've been getting over the last 2 weeks, which I found actually quite interesting. Celeste, good to see you. Hey, you're on the bus. Awesome. Um, Glad you could actually tune in on the bus. That is amazing. Everywhere I've ever took the bus, I had no phone signal, so that's pretty cool. Awesome. So yeah. Um, was Are we going to put more focus toward the school? Actually, yeah. That is one place I am wanting to put more focus as we're going forward. Um, because there is a lot that we have found that we can do with the school that we cannot do with YouTube. And there are so many things and details that you all are wanting that I'm going to need to put the attention more to the school and try to get more of those classes out in a faster pacing. Um, I'll be honest, when we started this, I don't think I expected y'all to enjoy the school as much as y'all do. And I'm grateful that you all enjoy the classes that we have put up. And I am grateful that you all are so encouraging for me to get more of those classes up. That does mean a lot to me. But I also will not stop doing the live streams, and I will not stop the one video a week that we are currently doing here, because I personally think that the free information that we offer at Working Dragon Mystic here on this channel is instrumental and pivotal, because y'all know I'm not a big fan of gatekeeping. I'm not a big fan of these giant $1,000 price walls to get into practice. And that was kind of the whole reason for starting this channel. I wanted to give out and do everything I could and help people find their path. The school allows me to do details I can't do via YouTube, and go into details on topics. So this channel will remain the backbone of everything. For those who have been asking and were worried that I might start pulling back on this channel. I don't know why y'all would think that, because I'll be honest, I love my viewers and I love doing this and getting that information out. So don't sweat it one bit. Let's see. So let's thought my phone was broken for a month. Turns out I just need a charger. Careful what I asked for. I asked to focus more on occult practice. Yep. I've noticed a lot of people when they ask to focus on occult development, their electronics are generally the first things to mess up, because a lot of people don't realize how much time they spend on electronic. And if you take the electronic away, how much free time you magically and suddenly have. It's amazing. Let's see. Purified. Sorry, Drake, this may be long. Our farm burned down, all the livestock included. We could at least save the house, but just barely. The most magical thing happened during the fire. It was entering our yard. Flame was about 7 meters tall and started to reach the grass roof. And the one guy just said, "Dear Lord, please help." And then at that moment, a whirlwind started in the middle of the fire and just swept it away, and happened multiple times at multiple places near the roof. I don't know how it happened. I'm stunned. I'm still in this house. Purified, I'll be honest with you. It is amazing how many tales like that I encounter. Um, I can't say that all of them are due to magic and or entities. Sometimes it could just be freaky weather patterns. That said, however, there's a few of them that, going to the properties, visiting, and the people having enough relationship with different entities, whether it be deities, saints, dragons, you name it. They're able to give me a name of an entity I can approach and ask, and they've been able to confirm the situation, and even give me details that the people left out. So yeah, I'm a big believer in entities will definitely extend a hand to help us out in situations like that. I am glad you're okay. I'm sorry to hear about the farm and the livestock for sure. I'm hoping not only you but the rest of your family is okay as well, mate. So so I'm glad they didn't break it. Most of my research is on my phone. Yeah, Celeste, I'll be honest with you. Many of you know I'm horrible with electronics. I've killed a lot of them, and computers included. This is why I actually keep my research on a cloud drive. I actually use Google Docs. It's free. All my research is largely in text documents with very few photos. And I also use backup external hard drives, which I do not store anywhere near my desk. The only time I get them out is when I'm downloading or copying something to them for long term storage. Otherwise, I keep them away from me because I'm bad at breaking electronics and I don't want to keep it on like here on the laptop. I don't keep my documents here just in case something does happen. Um, And though I was not a fan of Google Docs when I did start using it, I've come to enjoy having the ability to offload something into a server like that and being able to have access to it on my phone or any computer that I log into. That's been really handy for me. Um, a lot of people's like, well, I don't trust it because, how do I know they're not looking at it? Truth be told, you don't. But a lot of my research notes, the important ones, are also encrypted, not using a program. They're using old school encryptions and codings and stuff that I've designed. So if you're reading it, you're not going to understand most of it. You'd need the cipher, which I'm the only one who's got the cipher. So neener, neener, neener. But I don't really upload anything that's too big a deal. And so it's not really an issue there either. Plus, when you think about it, most of your research is going through the internet anyway. They already know it. That is an amazing experience there, Purified. I am glad you and your family's okay. See what else? Slow night in here tonight. Maybe we should have to push these back to our original times. I'm starting to think the new times have allowed fewer people to make it. See, so that we were originally doing these at 7. That's a 2 hour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll have to see. We got to make it through. I think September was going to be what we needed to do to get the full data on them, but we'll see. Let's see here. Trying to think. Other than those few things, I think my week has just been busy and working. Yeah, Palmer, that's kind of it. We tried to adjust it slightly for across the pond because we do have a lot of viewers that are in Europe and Australia and other places like that. So the live streams are quite late for them. But my worry is that the time adjustment may have cut out more people than we were able to help, which is counterproductive. And I know there's no perfect solution for everyone. Uh, I just wanted to try something and see if we could get it to better fit more people. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. And I think you might be right. It's the 9 to 5ers that might be still in their commute quite a bit. Because I'll be honest, we got a lot of 9 to 5ers that follow the channel. Luna, how have the Fae been treating me? Pretty good, pretty good. I got to say, this particular path working that I've been working on with the Fae has been interesting to say the very least. It is definitely one where I think I'm going to have to walk this path working twice before I get to publish it, which I'm sad to say. But the lords and ladies of winter that I've been working with through this path working and what they've been teaching me, um, I have drastically enjoyed it. Um, and there's a part of me that still hopes that somehow, as we get closer and closer to Yule and the closing of this particular path working, um, my evaluation is going to shift and change to the point where um, I will be able to publish it next year, hopefully. But at this point, with the data I have, the way things are going, I'm feeling more and more like I'm going to have to walk this a second time before I fully understand it and well enough to feel okay to film it and publish it well. Because y'all know I don't want to half-ass anything that I put out there for y'all. Um, but it's been really amazing. I've really enjoyed it. And actually, I'm looking forward to November, October, December because of it. Let's see here. I'm not sure if it's in the guide, if it's guidelines safe, but I heard if you get hurt in the astral plane, it can affect your human body. Does that include like extreme damage in astral, like if an arm is taken off? Okay, in astral travel, damage in astral travel will not have any effect on you at all, actually. Um, More often than not, it's just going to scare you and jolt you back. It won't have any health effects at all. I know there's a lot of horror stories and whatnots around that. Um, but yeah, you could be completely disintegrated in the astral and you're just going to snap back to your body instantly. Now, in soul travel, since it's not just an astral construct of you being projected, it's the entirety of your essence. Um, can it hurt? Oh, yes. Can it like cause physical health issues? Not necessarily. You may notice a reddening of the skin or the likes of that sometimes when things like that happen. Your muscles may contract in spasms because it's so real to your brain that they want to spasm, kind of like a muscle cramp or something. And because of that, you may feel sore for a day or two. Um, but as far as physical, long term, permanent damage, no, not even with soul travel. These are a lot of myths and scare tactics that a lot of spiritualists use to gatekeep, to be fair and honest. That's really what they're doing. They're trying to scare people off from learning and mastering these techniques for themselves. Let's see. Well, believe it or not, the back office actually shows when my viewers are most active. So that's one reason I'm waiting on the data to come in, Tara. Purified Drake, if I understand correctly, we weren't created by some deity. We just evolved, but I don't understand evolution. Can you please explain? Sorry for the dumb question. Oh, that's not a dumb question at all, actually. That's actually a pretty good question. And this is actually one of the interesting things that me and several religious individuals have discussed. Many of you know I like science. And I actually do believe in evolution. Ironically, I even believed in evolution when I was in the church. And the argument I made back then was how do we know that God didn't use evolution to create man? Why do the two things have to be completely separate? Why can't they be the same? Um, and if you look at the different creation myths throughout all the different pantheons of all the different creator deities, they all actually feed into the potential that creation and evolution are the same thing. They're not completely and absolute opposites and separate. Um, so I do think that it is possible that these creator deities had a hand in starting the process and moving it forward. Possible. But evolution in general is basically Trying to think of how I can put this. A life form essentially comes into existence somehow. This is honestly where I think that the creator deities had a hand in. I think they are what helped create that initial spark, if you would. But as an individual or an organism or a life form moves across the planet or the surface of the planet changes, that life form has to adapt. So whether it's where you're moving yourself, whether your environment's changing, you have to adapt to that in order to survive. That adaptation separates the weak from the strong. This is essentially the slow, steady process of evolution. And if you look at fossil records, you can see these changes happening throughout time, slowly but surely. You have actually specimens that you can line up and carbon date, and you can slowly see these adaptations. And that's one of the reasons why, when I say humans are all the same, people's like, well, what about this difference, this difference, this difference? Those are actually environmental adaptations that can actually be accounted for. And that's one of the things that I find so marvelous about animals and life in general is how powerful it is and it can adapt. It may take time, but it can adapt to a situation when it has that exposure to the situation. Yeah, evolution is essentially the slow process of adapting to the environment in which you're living and spending most of your time and adapting to your survival needs. That's essentially all that is. But like I said, also, it does not necessarily exclude the fact that the creator gods didn't necessarily start the ball rolling. So, but not a dumb question at all. Let's see here what we got. Oh, got on the wrong. Ooh, hopefully you're not too bad off your route there, Celeste. Hopefully. Have I heard of or met the Elemental Kings? You mean like Glop and them? Yes, I've worked with the Elemental Kings a few times. It's been a while though. It has been a while, but I have worked with them. Purified. What if you get hit by lightning in the astral? Same thing. It doesn't matter what they hit you with in the astral; it's still astral. And physical lightning can't hit you in the astral, so there's also that. Um, so either way, you're going to be fine and dandy. Um, in fact, getting hit by an energy source in the astral, that's about the best you could hope for because it's going to scare you. You're going to pop back in your body. You're fine. Now, truth in soul travel, if you got hit by lightning in soul travel's so real, you're going to be sore. You will be sore. It can't kill you. It can't hurt you long term. You'll be sore. But honestly, a little bit of soreness, maybe it's my generation, but I just don't see that as a big deal. Grant you, I've had some whiny students that you'd think a paper cut to them was the end of the world. But if you can't handle a bit of soreness, stiffness, or a headache or something like that, or a paper cut, I would recommend staying away from Magick altogether. Let's see what we got here. What's your thoughts on urge and Gnosticism? Well, that's a fair question, Putus. Trying to think how to best sum this up. I don't know if there is a singular consciousness creator, which most people who talk about a demiurge is actually trying to come back to that single point of intellectual creation. I have trouble in all my times traveling the plains buying into that. I've seen nothing to solidify that in any shape, form, or fashion personally. Now, at the same time, for those people who believe it, I kind of go with the same concept that I would go with anything. If this particular philosophy is working for you, it's manifesting the results in which you want, and you're not hurting anyone else in the process, I really don't give a rat's rump. And Gnosticism, again, it tends to go along with that whole Judeo Christian singular divinity concept. And that's fine. What a person chooses or wants to believe philosophically, I'm not going to split hairs on, as long as they're not forcing it down my throat or down another person's throat or harming people in the process. So, I mean, that's just it. There's a lot of different philosophies out there. If you're looking for the one singular true philosophy, you'll never find it because it don't exist, in my humble opinion. Yeah, there's an ice cream truck driving by. It's annoying, but it's there. Yes, I have visited the Akashic Records quite often. I enjoy visiting it. Hey, Jade, better late than never. Glad you can make it, Share. Mugs up. Wi-Fi dropped, but you're back. Well, glad to have you back. Autumn. The shadow element is actually defined in different traditions in different ways. That is one of the problems with the way traditions will define things. In general, across multiple traditions, though, the shadow element deals with the subconscious more than anything, and thus deals with the shadow self and that part, that element of us that incorporates and creates the shadow self. And that's actually the shadow self is created from all the things we suppress, whether it be traumas, pain, embarrassment, aspects of ourself we don't like. So we just shove them down and hide behind a false mask. And those manifest very much as the shadow self. This is actually what shadow work is about. It's about incorporating the true you as well as healing all those traumas, facing them head on. It's a rough bit of work, but it's there. So a lot of traditions will view the shadow element in that light, and that's what they consider it. You also have other traditions who view the shadow element more as a nocturnal energy current that anytime there is a lack of light, that would create a shadow or create darkness. The energies moving through those areas and currents they refer to as shadow element. So that's a tricky one because it does actually depend on the tradition you're looking at. Now, dragons as a whole, naturally, they do have dragons of darkness, which easily would fall into this, but all elements themselves also have what they refer to as its shadow. And this is also something that some traditions will view. And essentially, that is whatever something contains as its correspondence, it also contains its opposite. So I don't care how healing, how beneficial something is, it can be used to cause harm. And if it's harmful, it can be used to heal. And that shadow side of it, that shadow aspect, is one thing that a lot of people refer to as its shadow element as well. So that's not necessarily a direct or easy question, but it's a good question. Um, but I hope that understanding the different ways that the term is used might help you out a bit there, Autumn. Let's see. There's a lot of symbolism behind snakes. Snakes are rebirth, regeneration, healing. Um, they're also opposition. They're adversarial confrontations of issues that need to come to light. Um, they deal heavily with the subconscious. Um, Snakes are also great symbolism for picking up and deciphering and understanding vibrations that the eyes don't understand. There's a lot of symbolism around snakes throughout the years and ages. See you, Tara. Purified Drick. How does a Ragnarok cycle end? Um, well, I guess that depends on what's going on to trigger it, and the events that are happening during it would be one thing. Those would have to come to a conclusion, which there's no way to answer that in specifics. So I guess the easiest way is that the energetic, the chaos, the disruption that has been churned up to start that massive conflictual energy that is forcing that growth, forcing that change, bringing the current status quo to an end while giving birth to a new status quo. Um, that energy, that momentum, that movement essentially has to come to a conclusion so that you can get into that rebuilding, that restructure, that it ends in hard work is what it ends in, because once everything's done, um, it's a lot of hard work to get back into rebuilding, repairing, and moving into that new status quo, whatever that may be. And every cycle throughout time and history, it's going to be a little different because things are different. Um, and I know one of my friends actually largely associates Ragnarok cycles very similar to hurricanes or tornadoes. Going through the event, it's terrifying, it's scary, it's hard, but getting through it's not as hard as the work to rebuild after. Because now, once it's over, now you have to get out there, you have to clean everything back up, you have to repair everything. All the damage has to be repaired. You got to clean the yard, you got to repair the power lines, possibly have to rebuild entire homes. Um, you got to actually make peace with what has been lost. Could be property damage, vehicular damage, could be loss of life. All these things are things that you're going to have to deal with at the end of the cycle in order to begin the rebuilding, the healing, and the growth process. Putus, are there any supplements that I can? No, I am unaware of any that actually work. I have seen a lot of things peddled with little to no results. The only thing that I would say that might work and you might use it, and I won't even guarantee it, is mugwort, like mugwort tea. I know a lot of people use it. Use it sparingly because there have been reports of mugwort being hard on the liver. So use it sparingly. Some people say mint can potentially help, but outside those, not really. Um, nothing else that I've seen enough proof to actually say to say it works one way or the other. What I recommend, and those two, um, I mean, mint tea is easy to get a hold of, easy enough. When you do buy mugwort, I would say this: make sure you buy a food grade quality mugwort tea. Make sure it's food grade quality tea. Don't go to one of these herb shops. Have them get their little alchemy jar down and give you mugwort. I've seen so many shops. In fact, I'd say if I went to 10 shops, I'd say 8 out of 10, their stuff would probably recommend labeled food grade, but would be molded. And you run the risk of getting very, very sick. They do not, a lot of these shops do not store and keep their loose mugwort well. I would not make a tea out of it for nothing anymore. I've seen way too many of them have crappy storage and just there's no way I would count it as food grade under any circumstances. And y'all know me as a redneck. I will eat and drink a lot of crap, but I will not use that. So anytime I'm getting my mugwort tea, I make sure I get it from a reliable source. It is sealed. It is packaged. I don't have to worry about mold or anything like that. I am really picky because I've seen people get really, really sick from bad herbs like that. Autumn, it helps. Glad I could be of help, Autumn. Purified. So the shadow fire plane. Okay, the fire plane itself would actually contain its shadow portion. The shadow side of the fire plane is in the fire plane. It's not like a secondary off tucked away plane of its own. But yes, you could actually. There are plenty of the shadow-esque entities that work within the fire plane. Well, hell, I mean, Ingus Solor is a perfect example. You want to deal with the energetic shadow of fire. Ingus Solor knows it. He can manipulate it. He can show you how to utilize it. You don't have to go far. Like I said, it's all contained in there. Um, Autumn, to be honest with you, humans are actually welcome in every plane I've ever been to. Here's the kicker: some planes you can only get to through soul travel. So when you're astral traveling, you do have a limitation. You can only visit planes that overlap the astral. That limitation's fine and dandy. And you can't even really access those planes fully and in their entirety through astral travel, but you can still visit them. Um, and most of those are just as easy as you just need to know of them in order to project to them. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. However, there are planes where they are locked and or sealed. This does not mean the human soul is not welcome. Quite to the contrary, the locked and sealed planes that may only have one door, they're not that you're not welcome. They're that you have to earn your way in. You have to prove your capabilities, um, because you're just not entitled to walk in. You have to earn it. And the multiverse is very big on you having to earn stuff. So if you can figure out how to get in, you are allowed to enter. Now, once you are inside it, you still have to follow the rules, or you will be thrown out very, very quickly. No exceptions. And the excuse, which I love to see so many people new to soul travel, they think the excuse, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, that's not an excuse. Um, so I've not actually found a plane in which the human soul is not welcome. Hey, Jay, good to see you. Uh, off the top of my head. Outside the dragon realm, I actually would have to check my notes, Purified. I apologize. I will admit a lot of my soul travel work right now has been dealing with the Fey realms, the Norse realms, and the dragon realms. I've not been keeping up on a lot of the realms that I've walked in the past. And y'all know I write things down because um, there are areas of the Fey realms that are locked off and secured for many reasons. So, but I don't know that they have a proper name per se that I can give. Um, Kind of the same thing within the celestial realms and then the infernal realms, if you want to call those sections that. There are sections locked off that you may have to gain access to. I don't know if they have a particular name. But then as far as planes, yeah, I gotta check my note on that, Purified. I apologize, mate. AT801 just checking in. Mugs up to you too. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Have a good weekend in case you're not sticking around for a little bit. Lolo, welcome. Good to see you. And I do apologize when I can't remember names or something for y'all, because I've been at this for so many years. I've studied so many different things. There's just too much bouncing around. That's one reason I do keep journals and notes. I know I can't remember all these names. Um, and that's part of why I do the live streams, is because if you ask me a question and I can't remember it, I want y'all to know nobody's perfect. Um, and I've said it before, I think that's one of the things too many practitioners do. Everybody tries to put on a facade or a veneer of perfection. They've got it all figured out. Um, I think you all have seen me on this live stream well enough and seen me. I ain't got it all figured out. I have a pretty good handle on a functioning practice that I can teach and help other people get a good handle on their practice. But I'm still learning. I still make mistakes, and I'm still evaluating even my own philosophies, which actually might make for a very, very cool live stream discussion one night. Just discussing magical philosophies and why it's a good thing to be willing to consider yourself wrong. I know a lot of practitioners who would never, ever, ever think of that concept. Oh, before we go any further, though, we got 21 people in here and only see 3 thumbs up. Come on. Surely my southern accent's not that bad tonight. Maybe the lighting. I don't know. Maybe you don't like the hat. I don't know. But let's get some thumbs up here. Get some likes on this video so YouTube knows you actually like coming and listening to me yammer on about this stuff. We'd appreciate it much. Yes, we would. Thank you. There we go. Now we're coming up on those likes. I appreciate it. But one of the biggest things that I think helps an individual, practitioner or not, you have to evaluate who you are, where you are, what you stand on, and what you're thinking. And you have to be willing to view and look at the new data and make adjustments based on the data and everything that is playing out and happening in order to grow. If you don't, if you just dig your heels in with the data you received originally and you never take the time to look at the new data, you're never going to grow. And that's one of the reasons I say one of my favorite things is to be wrong, because if I'm wrong, that's an opportunity to learn something. And an opportunity to learn something is an opportunity to grow. See, J helps. I'm about to take your course for beginners. What's the best way to focus? Cause I'm always alert. Being alert actually should help you focus, Jay. I'm always alert myself. It drives my wife crazy because you can't move around any portion of my house, even outside it, without me being able to hear where you are and what you are doing. So, yeah, I'm always alert of everything within the perimeter of my entire house. Anyone steps on the front porch, I know it. Anyone touches a doorknob, I know it. Um, every little bump sound, car starting, door opening, I can literally tell you which of my neighbors is getting into which vehicle based on sound alone. So when it comes to always alert, that's me. That actually should help you focus, in all honesty. If you're having trouble focusing because sounds are distracting you, then I would say work on your meditation. That's the entire purpose of meditation, is focus and discipline. And for somebody like you or I who's alert, um, passive meditation can be tricky. It really can. Which, if you go check out our basic meditation video, you can get some information there. Active meditations definitely where guys like us are going to. If you're not a guy, I apologize. Everyone I know named Jay is a guy, so forgive me if I've messed that up. But because of that, focused meditation allows us to focus on a specific issue very actively. And since it's an active and focused meditation, our alertness actually has a focus and is actually doing something And generally speaking, that kind of helps us develop that focus and discipline a little easier. But you shouldn't skip and bypass passive meditation either, because part of being alert and part of being in the here and the now is being able to also just be. So it is possible to do a perfectly normal 3 count breathing meditation with no focus while still paying attention to all of your surroundings. In fact, those surroundings become much more crystal clear and more tangible. And that's a good thing because it enhances your focus. And it also allows you to move your focus to a specific place when you need it. So meditation is definitely a place to go. Now, you said my course. If it's the meditation course, you're covered. If it's the Dragon Magic 101 course, there are several meditations and practices in there. And if you check out the meditation videos here on the channel, they should also help you with that just fine. Now, if you want to go far, far deeper into meditation, we do have a meditation course that is massive that can help you with that as well. I don't know which course you bought, but either one should have some meditations in there that will help you. In fact, Dragon Magic 101 has the Dragon Fire meditation. It has drastically helped so many people with that very thing. And yeah, see, AT's right here. He's saying focus meditation is extremely powerful. It is, and I absolutely love it. It's my go-to meditation most times. Let's see. I'm not going to do this, but if you opened like 5 Clithothic spheres, why can't you close them back up? Because the way the Clithothic spheres work, you don't open them and close them like a door. You open them, their energy's like, hey, you've got a problem. You have some growth. You have some development. Let's get the fire hose. And they start having you drink from this fire hose. And you're going to drink from that fire hose until whatever lesson or progress that you need to deal with is dealt with. So think of it kind of like peeling an onion. You got to take that first layer off. Well, that first layer is just that first lesson, but until that lesson's learned, you are drinking from a fire hose. Believe me, I've done this. It was not fun. Do not do this. Because I did not know this. And I was like, I opened sphere 1. Yay, let's see what happens. Open sphere 2. Let's see what happens. And I think it was actually 5 spheres, Autumn. I do. I really think it was 5 spheres that's covered in that book. It might have been maybe 7, but 5 sounds accurate. And I covered each of these spheres in a week because of curiosity and stupidity. So for the next 2 years, I was having to try and drink from 5 or 7 fire hoses from the cliff off until those lessons, those things had all been resolved. And since I wasn't ready for the massive amount of energy and change, growth, and all that, it was a living hell. I'll be honest with you, it was rough. I would never want to do it again. And you can't close it. There is no option to close the Clithothic spheres. You just can't do it. I know a lot of people out there who have claimed it, but you watch these people and you can actually see their life in complete wrecks because of it. You just can't close them. The entire point of the Clithoth is once you open it and expose yourself to it, you will learn the lessons. You will go through the energetic change regardless. That's why it's not recommended for people who are beginning, because if you don't understand techniques and methods to help you get through those changes and those growth periods and to understand those lessons and make it a smoother ride, I won't say easy because it's never easy, but we'll say smoother. A lot of those lessons can almost destroy you. In fact, they can destroy you in some of the later spheres. Anime picks movies as hell real. All the hells of all the major religions are real based upon the religion and the myth therein, though they are often misunderstood. But if you're asking, is there a singular one true hell as is preached about in Christian mythology, then no. Christians do have their own personal religious hell plane that, yes, they can easily go to, easy peasy lemon squeezy, but you also have to be a member of said religion to gain access to said plane. And thus, for everyone else, it's not even an issue. And it's not even the torturous damnation that Christians think it is. See, purified. If I do the dragon's flame, what can I do after to fill the empty space with positive energy? The dragon's flame ritual will do it itself, purified. Look at how the ritual's set up. The dragon's flame ritual literally cleanses, protects, and empowers a space. It is literally empowering the space with balanced energy. Um, which is actually far better and useful than positive or negative alone because it will balance the energy for exactly what you need in your home, in your life, and for you. So you shouldn't need to do anything after that if you're doing the Dragon's Flame ritual. AT, I'm definitely sticking around. I love the content. Always look forward to Friday and Sundays. Thank you, AT. I appreciate it very much. Appreciate it. Jay, sorry, but no, don't worry about the spelling, mate. It's all good. Uh, okay, again, anime. We are going to say do not spam. I know we got on to you last week for this. Locked realms, as we've covered, are planes and realms in which you need a specific way to access it. You can't just step directly into them. They have a very specific access pathway or procedure, or you cannot access it, period. The Draconic Realms is one of these realms. It has one door for humans to go in. If you do not know how to access it via that door, you're not getting in. They also have a mirror realm for those who try to bypass it that resembles it but is not it. And, well, for the people who don't really take the time to learn the details, the mirror realm will completely satisfy their curiosity enough that they think they've been there. Anime, if you are asking, and you see, deleting it doesn't. Um, okay, if you're asking if vampires, like in the movies, the immortal, blood sucking, sleeping in coffin beings are real, no, those are works of fiction. That's exactly what those are. Um, Now, if you are meaning like if you're looking at like the elder vampire community or the modern vampire community, um, these are not vampires in the traditional occult mythological horror movies sense, but they are real. These are individuals who essentially have an energy deficiency. Their body does not produce the energy to maintain its health and function. So therefore, they have to get energy from another source. They do not need to drink blood. They can easily take ambient energy from around you. And all ambient energy is, if you watch a person's aura, energy radiates outward. It gets so far from the person, it breaks off from the aura and free floats in the vicinity. This is why, if there's a large argument in a room, for example, you once the argument's over, someone can walk into that room, even though it's empty. They can still feel the energy in that room of where that argument was. That is because of the ambient energy that is indeed attached and is human energy. A vampire can easily collect that ambient energy to offset their deficiency. That's all they are. There's nothing immortal about them. There's nothing beyond that. There's nothing special about them. And ironically, there's nothing cool about what they have to live through and go through. It's actually kind of the opposite. AT, what are my thoughts on Norse magic, and do you have any advice for anyone new Norse practitioners in the chat? Actually, yeah, I do. Norse magic is actually one of the two main things I utilize. I love Norse magic. runic magic and seed work are things that I absolutely adore. Thanks, Jade. I'll answer this question and we'll get ready to sign out. Appreciate it. If you are interested in Norse magic, one of the first things I would recommend you doing is to read the Poetic Eddas. And I would definitely put focus on reading and attempting to understand the Havamal. Now, below my videos, you will see a link to a translation of the Poetic Eddas um, by Jackson Crawford. Click that link, go over there and grab that version. The reason I love Crawford's translations of the Poetic Edis is because he spent a lot of time doing his translations. Not only does he translate them, but he takes the time to step aside and explain why he chose that translation. And he always goes back to source material. And this is the one that really fries most people's brains. He's not an occultist. He is a Norse. He studies Norse mythology, so he doesn't care about the cult side. He only cares about the history and more of the mythology and the oh crap. There's a word for it. Starts with an A. Anthropological maybe views. So that really helps you to get a clear understanding of who these people are and how their magic may have worked. And with that foundation, then you can also start looking into from there occult works and everything. Now we are actually planning to do a course on Norse magic here, well, at the school. So that is actually one of the big projects I want to undertake next. And we are hoping to get more videos on Norse magic up and out there. Um, I think we do have a Norse magic playlist, AT, where I do recommend a few books. Um, and one of them, I can never remember the name of that book. It's like the Essential Guide to Asatru or something like that. Even though I wouldn't say it's the best book on Norse magic as a whole, and I know for people who may be interested in Norse magic but may not want to fully practice the religious things, I find that that book, combined with a good translation of the Poetic Edis, really does a good job of giving you an idea of the mentality, um, which is really important to how the Norse magic actually functions. Okay, okay, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense there. That does. And Jackson Crawford is amazing. I love his translations. The next thing I would say for any beginners out there, if you get any of these jackasses who say you can't practice Norse magic unless you're white or only so and so can practice Norse magic, if you see any of these racist asshats, just walk away. The gods do not care about your skin color. They do not care about any of that. If you want to come to the gods and you want to honor their ways and you want to honor them and you wish to be respectful, come on. And anyone tells you you can't practice because of any of that crap, message me. Message me. I'll raise a horn with you. Yep. See, I'm a yeah. That I'm with you on that, At. That crap is it's just that it is crap, and it really pisses me off when I see that shit. Um, which I guess you all can see. um, but yeah, we are planning to do a Norse magic course where I'll admit, At, I am planning to focus more on the nuts and bolts of the magic, not the religious practice, because the Norse they mixed them, but they also had them separated somewhat. Um, but we're trying to figure out. I'm sure in some way I'm going to have to show well, you do have to have some basics on how to honor the gods and everything you're working with, just in the basics of the system. But we're going to keep it on that basic side of how to honor the gods of the Norse pantheon and work with them respectfully as you practice Norse magic. We're not going to go heavy into the religious side of it because I'll be honest with you, there are thousands of authors and out there that can hands down discuss the religion side of it far better than myself. And that's one of the reasons I do point to that one book. I think that author done a really good job of um, explaining it, but leaving it open for one to find their own path within it. Because when it comes to Norse practice, it is very personal. So I think that author did a great job. And I'm great at teaching mechanics. I don't know how good I am about philosophy. Asron Torvald did write an interesting book on Norse magic. He does take a very left-hand, dark, almost um, we'll just call it extreme left-hand and dark approach to it, which a lot of people have criticized. I personally found his book intriguing, functional, and it was quite interesting. It's also like $80 for the book. Um, and I've been asked, do I believe it's worth the price? That's kind of a personal choice. For me, I found his take on it interesting, and he does talk about different aspects and sciences of magic. Um, and actually, I'd say the first two or three chapters don't even feel very Norse in general. But if you do look up his book, it is actually an intriguing one if you got the money to spend on it. Yes. All right. With that, we're a little bit over, and Jade's already thrown me the flag here, so I'm going to have to get going, you all. Everyone, have a freaking amazing weekend. If you're anywhere near me where they keep telling us we have storms coming, I've been supposedly having this storm for like the last 4 days. It ain't came. So you never know. I could be sitting here tonight, go light the grill, and it just cloud burst open. We have us a frog strangler on our hands, and that's fine and dandy. That's how it is where I live. Um, but if you are out and about in a storm, drive safe. Have a great weekend. Everyone, my day off is tomorrow, so I'm going to try and make the best of that, get some stuff done. And we will see you all on Sunday at, I think, 6 for Magical Coffee Hour. All right. Until then, you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.